Hi, welcome to the video. Right, so we're going to test using our household ammonia the levels of ammonia that you can use when you're maturing your filter without having a detrimental impact on the bacteria, either the nitrous ammonious bacteria that reduce the ammonia to nitrite, or the nitrobacters that convert nitrite to nitrate. And so to do this, what I've done is I've put in a litre of dechlorinated water a 1 milligram of ammonia over here, and then put in 1 piece of K3, and then I've got 2 milligrams of ammonia in this one, and I've got 2 pieces of K3, and so on with 4 milligrams, 8 milligrams and 16 milligrams. If ever you get a test on your pond or aquarium that looks like that, you've gone a little bit wrong. So anyway, I'm expecting that to cause a real problem for the nitrobacters, based on things that I've read. But the reason I'm doing these experiments is because I've found conflicting things in things I've read, and I want to see for myself what the real story is. So I'm expecting, if all is well, that all of these experiments will reduce the ammonia to zero at the same length of time, and reduce the nitrite to zero in the same length of time, because even though they've got more, they've got twice as much matured media in there to deal with it. So we'll have to see what the results of it are, in a few days. Alright, so we're on day 4, got the results, and it's a clear tie. All of the different concentrations of ammonia led to the same results. 0 ammonia after day 3 and 0 nitrites or thereabouts after day 4. The only difference between them was the steepness at which the ammonia was reduced. You can see this as you go across the tests, starting with test 1 that starts with the 1 milligram and just gradually goes down to 0 on day 3, whereas at the other end of the spectrum, the 16 milligrams took a much steeper path but still got down to 0 on the 3rd day. Well, I was pretty intrigued actually with that result, that 16 milligrams wasn't a problem, and I thought, how far can we push this? So I've set up another experiment. It's the same arrangement. We now do 16, 32, 64 and 128. Now the tests are pretty useless at this sort of level. There's nothing to read off there. It's just black. But I've done the number of drops. I've counted it by number of drops, so I know how much is in there. The 128 is absolutely jam-packed with the media, so hopefully that won't cause a problem with the results, because there's a bit less circulation in there. But I've also got to test a control over here, but the 16 milligrams just with 0 K3 in there, just to see if we're losing any ammonia through the bubbling off, which might cause a problem with any conclusions. It's results time, and we can see a really clear border now where there is a problem with having too much ammonia. So at 32 milligrams, all the ammonia and nitrite was removed after 3 days. Now that was actually a bit quicker than the earlier experiment, but I put that down to the temperature in the last few days, having picked up a bit. It's ranged between 22 and 25 degrees in here, which is about 5 degrees more than the last experiment. So that explains why it's a bit quicker. But the 16 milligram, which is the same as we had in the last experiment, had the same result as 32 milligrams. So we know that 32 doesn't cause a problem either for either type of bacteria. But then when we double up the amounts, it starts to really slow things down. Still at day 4 now, it hasn't removed all the nitrite from the 64 milligram one, and hasn't even removed the ammonia from the 128, so it's really starting to slow it down. The one over here that's just got the bubbler, that shows that there isn't really a massive amount of ammonia being lost purely through the bubbling off from having the air push through that, which is helpful because it means that's not a key factor in the analysis that we're doing here, and doesn't undermine the results. So that's it. Conclusion is, if you want to mature your filter, you can use up to 30 or so milligrams of ammonia, and you won't have any detrimental impact on either types of bacterial growth. So that's it for this time. See you on the next experiment.